Well, hello, hello. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk. My name is James Rink, and I am a super soldier. And today we're going to be discussing scalar light therapy sessions. So we have Tom Paladino here today. Tom, how are you doing?
I am well. Thank you for the invite, James.
Absolutely. So Tom Paladino is bringing scalar healing to the world by improving the quantum health of humanity. Tom will be sharing more about his scalar light sessions, which impart a non physical divine light upon photographs of people, animals, plants, and objects. So, scalar light is the light of God, the creative strength. All energy in the universe initiates as scalar light, as the sun of our solar system, as well as the stars, serve as storehouses for scalar light. Scalar light imparts the divine intelligence upon the entire universe. Subsequently, all spiritual, cognitive, emotional, and physical actions in the universe are initiated and maintained by scalar light intelligence. Scalar light provides order in the universe, so we can put the same category of chi, prana, om, consciousness, torsion, energy, creative strength, or 0 point energy, probably even Holy Spirit too. Could all be considered synonymous for scalar light. Tom, uh, yeah, well, maybe we can just start from the very beginning because uh, I was actually using your service back in, I think it was 2013. When did you start doing this?
I've been at this now in practice since 1993. So it's been a good 30 years that I've been at this.
Okay, but what about the scalar services?
The services, I came public with it just prior to that in 2010.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have a mutual friend in this field, and she hooked me up, and then she was actually on my board of director of my nonprofit, Healing Soul Survivors. So when I was using the scalar, I guess frequencies or whatever, the scan, I don't know exactly what you would call it, but yeah, I noticed it was one of the more peaceful times in my life. But I, uh, I I was on it for about a year, and I think it's good for those of you who need the extra little boost in your life. But maybe Tom, why don't you explain a little bit more what it is so people
Okay.
can hear it from you.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you. I'm in my laboratory. Behind me is a scalar light instrument. And what am I getting at? What do I mean, first of all? Define our term. Scalar light, it's the light of God. This energy originates from the sun and the stars. So we're not going to speak about the electromagnetic spectrum. We'll speak about only scalar energy, scalar light. And with that in mind, I believe there's incredible things, incredible benefits to be derived from this energy. So there's two energies, electromagnetic energy and scalar energy. I prefer to work with scalar energy. It is much more versatile and it can accomplish so many things that electricity cannot function, cannot perform, cannot achieve. So the point of my work is this. I have discovered a new way of healing, scalar energy healing. And this new way of healing is through the aura or the force field of the body. I never worked with flesh and blood. We'll get into that. So in synopsis, it's divine energy. It originates from the sun and the stars. This is not electricity. And I work with the force field of a person. And I access the force field of a person by way of their photograph.
Very good. So yeah, why don't you tell us what exactly is scalar energy? I mean, I guess we know like chi, but how do you create it? Because I've read something about where two light forces come together and it's like a 0 point. Maybe
Yes.
go a little bit in that.
Yeah. Scalar energy, the fact that it originates from the sun and the stars, it's fundamental energy. So you have to be able to capture that energy from the sun and the stars. Scalar energy is all around. It's in your living room. It's in your car. It's in the stratosphere. But we have to harness it. It's weak. We have to be able to coalesce it or harness it. This is what a scalar wave would look like if we could visualize it. It's a double helix. And if you look at the DNA, it's the same ratio and proportion as our DNA. So a scalar wave is a double helix. It maintains our DNA. This scalar wave originates from the sun and the stars. That's crucial to understand this energy. It acts like a corkscrew. A corkscrew, it spirals. That's not electricity. Behind me is a scalar energy instrument. If you could visualize this, it's invisible, but if you could envision this energy, it would be propagating as a double helix from that coil, from that Tesla coil. The instrument is on, it's functioning right now. The scalar energy instrument is so strong that it can illuminate a light bulb if I place the light bulb close to the instrument.
Wow,
So
how's it doing that?
Yeah, this is some of the mechanics of scalar energy. There's so much energy coming from that instrument, the energy of the sun and the stars, it will animate a light bulb. Here's another case. Fluorescent light bulb, place it close to the instrument, it illuminates. Okay, so I'm trying to establish the fact that this is a functioning instrument that's broadcasting light, broadcasting scalar light. Again, what is scalar light? It's divine light from the sun and the stars. To make this very simple and easy to understand, scalar light is Christ consciousness, chi, prana. Scalar light is quantum. Scalar light is that light that surpasses the time-space continuum. Scalar light is that new branch of physics that Nikola Tesla was working with. I have essentially in my laboratory a Tesla instrument. I'll show the audience. That is a Tesla instrument. It gives off a tremendous amount of light, a tremendous amount of energy. It allows me to access another dimension. The dimension that I access is a scalar energy dimension beyond space and time. What's so exciting about this is that we're no longer bound to the electromagnetic spectrum. Rather, the fact that we have a scalar energy instrument, now we can access another dimension. There's two dimensions, there's two energies. That's why I'm so successful in doing what I'm doing. Sadly, academia is not caught up to this, that there's two energies, there's two dimensions, there's two realities. I work with that other reality, scalar energy, or what, again, some call quantum or 0-point energy, or some might even call it the ether energy or the matrix. It's very real. I have instruments that control that energy.
So tell us a little bit more on how you think scalar energy is creating a healing effect.
Yeah. Okay, good point. So if energy is fundamental, it is, then this energy is responsible for our well-being. It's also responsible for our disease signatures. So if I can take a scalar energy instrument and I can identify a disease signature on my photograph, I can negate the disease on the photograph. So what's the point? I don't work with people, flesh and blood. I work with their energy field that has their photograph. A photograph has a force field, an energy field. When you're working with quantum energy, you never work with people, you work with their energy field. I access a person's energy field on their photograph. This is the new science in which you don't have to be present. You can bilocate by way of your photograph. So there's the physical, biological Tom here. This is my substitute. This is my bilocated version on a piece of paper, a photograph of me. How does that work? My photograph has energy. That photograph is a light signature. Light energy created that signature. Light energy is upon that photograph. So I access the photographic force field of a person. It's very exciting because I don't have to rely upon chemical reactions. I'm not subject to metabolism. I'm not subject to any what I would call biological function. Kinesiology has nothing to do with my work. I work at a higher level of information. And I prefer to work at that level of information because nothing can go wrong when you're working at the fundamental level of information.
So what if it's there's some great questions from the chat here. What if it's an ugly photo? Same results?
It doesn't matter. I like that. I've never had that question. My photograph is about 5 years old. This photograph still reports who I am today in the present moment, soul, mind, and body. If I had lupus as a person, my lupus would appear on that photograph as a signature. If I had the herpes virus as a person, herpes as a disease signature would appear on that photograph. And what I'm saying is that this instrument can find a disease signature and negate it on the photograph. This is the new science where we never work with people. I don't want to work with people. It's too cumbersome. I don't want to work at the biological level. I want to work with photographs that's the informational level that nothing can go wrong. I don't want to practice biology. I want to practice with photographs.
Bill put a great question here. I would say probably not, but does it matter if digital photography or traditional film? Does it matter?
Very good question. It does not matter. Why? A photograph carries your signature. My photograph is my fingerprint. My photograph is my DNA, so to speak. My character is on that photograph. When I started in the 90s, we were using Polaroid photographs. We don't use Polaroid. We just use digital. We just email photographs. Now, all of our work is through an email photograph. The key is this: a photograph is unique. My photograph is unique to me. There's only one Tom. There's only one signature of Tom. That signature is identical to my signature.
Wow. Okay. And we'll go over here. This is a good question here. How recent of a photo do we need?
Good question. It doesn't matter. The signature is what you want to access. The signature could be, this photograph is 5 years old. It doesn't matter, because in scalar energy, there's only the present moment. Even though this photograph is 5 years old, it still reports who I am right now at the present moment. Age does not matter. Why? Time does not matter. In a scalar energy environment, everything is in the present moment. Only one time in the present moment.
Thank you. Okay. So next question. Maybe we can, I don't know if maybe we should even comment about the EE system with Dr. Sandra Michael Rose. So that particular unit is about $42,000. I don't know, the starter unit's probably maybe $24,000. So with your technology, you're saying we could just we don't actually have to buy all the infrastructure. We could just put our picture there.
Correct.
I guess theoretically we could, Dr. Sandra Michael Rose could have done the same thing, but it's okay. You know, everybody does their thing. But do you know, can you describe other, I don't know if you want to do that, but other types of inventions out there similar to that particular model? What else is out there right now? I mean, I guess we have like the Nikola Tesla coils, right? Tesla coils.
I would say these instruments are unique. I'll speak for myself. This instrument is custom built. This is a custom built instrument. You can see the vacuum tube and the oscillator and the Tesla coils, receiver and transmitter. It's custom built. What's the point? I can't compare myself to other instruments. So my instrument is unique. I have a unique approach and I have unique results. All I can do is just concentrate on what God has given me, which is this type of technology. I like the fact that there are other quantum healers out there. I really enjoy the fact that this is starting to catch on, and that quantum healing through the aura, through the force field, is becoming more and more accepted by the general public.
Thank you. All right. And can this particular technology be used to open a physical portal? Maybe have you noticed any strange things coming through in your lab? Like ghosts or?
I haven't seen ghosts, but I will say this. It does open another dimension. Many people tell me when I work with this energy, their dream state is enhanced, and that they're dreaming many times, obviously, some type of astral projection, and they're recalling events in their lives, past events that they never remembered, or past events that were rather hard to remember, difficult to remember. So by having this energy, if you will, illuminate our minds. Imagine if I can illuminate a light bulb, I can illuminate the human mind. When we illuminate the mind, we open up our portals. We open up our chakras. Let's call them chakras. We open up, if you will, balance our brain waves. And that allows us to enter into that other dimension of scalar energy, allowing us to recall past events, allowing us to balance our chakras, allowing us to deal with depression. This is an entirely new branch of physics. We have to discover this new branch of physics and work with it. Tesla tried to introduce it. He was stopped. We have to introduce scalar physics. It has so many gifts. We need scalar physics today.
Thank you. All right. So let's go through some more examples of what certain feedback. Now, I want to know something. Now, we don't have to say the word. It has something to do with the C word, because of all the censorship that we have to deal with. So, but it is one of the biggest money-making models for the medical mafia out there. But do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah. For the past 4 or 5 years, my family and friends have been healthy. I work with them by way of their photographs. I can work this as an example. That's not my family. That's a collage of photographs. And my family has never been hospitalized or friends in the past 5 years for any reason. So how does this work? Let me explain. I can instruct scalar energy. Follow my thinking. I'm holding up a photograph, a magnified photograph of herpes, a virus. I am also holding up my photograph side by side the herpes photograph. And this is what I do in practice. I place 2 photographs inside the instrument. The photograph of herpes has a signature, a disease signature. If this instrument finds the disease signature of herpes on my photograph, it will negate it, break it apart, bring it to a state of chaos. So when we work with energy, it's non-physical. We look for the energy signal of herpes, we disassemble that, or we negate the herpes signature. All disease begins as information. My instrument can, if you will, negate the information of herpes. And as a result, people feel better. Many people tell me that they no longer have a fever blister or they're no longer sick.
Wow. What about, we can maybe discuss aging. Have you noticed any improvement, reduction of that?
Yes. I have another method in which I can take a photograph of a vitamin. This is pantothenic acid, B5. And if I were to place in the instrument a photograph of B5 next to my photograph, the 2 photographs, the 2 information fields communicate. The information of B5 communicates with my information field. And I receive my vitamins energetically 22 hours a day through this instrument in my information field. This is how I achieve optimal health, through photographs of vitamins and antioxidants, downloading that into my information field. Does that help me? I believe so. I'm 64 years of age. I believe this has slowed down my aging crisis.
What if you were to say, take a picture of when you were 21 and put it next to that?
I think that it would have some influence, but I've not been able to reverse time. I can't do that. I wish I could. We would all go back in time. I can't do that.
Yeah, I know Chris O'Connor was discussing his MedBed device where he would take 2, it was like portals, and it would one portal would be able to affect the time of the other, and you could reverse the time. But that's probably beyond this conversation. But okay, great. Next question: are you selling these units?
No, the laboratory it's just vast. You've only seen 5% of the laboratory. It's rather, the laboratory is rather immense, and this is just part of the laboratory. I cannot sell the instruments, and even if I could, I would not. There's just too much liability.
Oh wow! Is this similar to the Royal Rife devices?
In principle, yes. I believe Rife was able to look at a person in person now, not through a photograph, and find disease signatures. I believe Rife was able to negate disease signatures in person. I negate disease signatures on a photograph. There's a big difference. So this is not a Rife instrument, but I have a high regard for Rife and his work.
Thank you. Do you have any funny stories to share related to the particular device.
Yeah. I work with many pets. People send me photographs of pets. After I work with pets, their pets are restored to life, so to speak. In the words of, by way of testimony of the people who submitted their photograph, dogs and cats that were lethargic now have a great deal of activity. They're vibrant. Why? Probably because the dog and cat needed their chakras balanced, and they needed to have various disease signatures negated, brought to a state of chaos. So it works for pets. I've worked with elephants, and the elephants have responded favorably. As far as working with people, many people say that they have a feeling of elation, that many times when you're identifying and removing, negating disease signatures from their force field, they not only feel better, but their spirits return, that they have a feeling of almost euphoria. They're very happy. Others have told me that they're more communicative, or the students do better at school. Their tests, their academic scores are improved. So I see this as, if you will, a blanket approach to quantum health, what I call informational health, a blanket approach to health.
Nice. I know Dr. Sandra Michael Rose was working on getting a grant with the military to create a gymnasium-styled unit that could create a mass healing of many veterans. But with your device, it sounds like we don't need to use a lot of infrastructure. We could probably, how many people can you treat at one time?
That's a great question. Today, I was working with 1 million photographs. Today, I've been amassing photographs for the past 25 years. The potential of this instrument, I believe I could work with 10 million photographs in a year.
Wow. Okay.
10 million photographs in one day. My goal in a year would be to work with 500 million, maybe 1 billion photographs. So again, presently I'm working with 1 million photographs a day. The potential of this instrument I should be able to work with 10 million photographs a day. My ultimate goal would be to work with 1 billion photographs a year.
Nice. Could you tell us a little bit more about maybe, we were discussing veterans, maybe like PTSD. Let's go with that. And of course, I want to ask about. Well, just
I have to go upon the testimonies of people, because again, this has never been accomplished. Nobody's ever duplicated my results, so I only have anecdotal support by way of testimonies. Some people have told me after a span of 4, 5, 6 months that this has helped them with PTSD or manic depressive disorder. So it seems to balance out the chakras. It seems to, if you will, calm the nerves. Many people can, if you will, come to grips with a traumatic experience in the past. That doesn't negate the traumatic experience, but it gives them clarity. So I've had some success with PTSD. I can't give you an across the board statement that it's going to be the end all for PTSD.
I know many of us would probably use it for PTSD. Some of us would like to have more memory recalls to recover what they experienced out there in these projects. So I guess you're going to need a picture. What else? What do you need?
Right. All I need, I'm going to provide 15 days of free sessions for your audience. Anybody can visit our website. All I ask is that people send me a photograph, just your face. I don't need a full body shot. Just, if you will, you don't need to disrobe, just your face. And you can send photographs of your entire family, include your pets. And the key is for you to prove it to yourself. My website is scalarlight.com. It has a standing offer. Anybody in the world can email us your photograph. Include your family, get their permission, include your pets, and then tell your neighbors about this. My goal is to help humanity. I'm a humanitarian. I want to help the world. And with that in mind, I need people to help me get the word out. James, thanks for the opportunity. I need people to help me spread the word that this is a valid science, that these are scientifically engineered instruments, and that this works. How do I prove it works? People prove it for themselves. I work with people through their photograph. And after people have a pleasurable experience, for whatever reason, they tell others. So please go to the website. You're entitled, no obligation. just email your photograph.
Thank you. And I know some people that work with radionics request a hair sample or nails. It might be a homeopathic aspect as that
Yeah.
as well. So do you? I guess you don't need any of that.
Yeah. In substitution of hair, nails, or a blood vial, which I don't want any biological sample. It's dirty, it's messy, and I don't want to inconvenience you. It's much easier to take a photograph. Email us your photograph. The age of the photograph doesn't matter. The key to this is to understand that in the quantum realm, a photograph has the same energy as a person. I'm not working with people. I'm working my substitution, my bilocated version. My photograph is my witness. It stands in witness or substitution of my biological body. Meaning what? There's two Toms. That's right. There's the biological Tom, and then there's the quantum Tom. The quantum Tom is on the photograph. The biological Tom is here sitting in a chair.
Okay, let's go back to maybe some of your own stories. So tell us a little bit more about who you are, some of your background, and maybe what got you into this.
You know, I was very fortunate. In 1993, I met a group of scalar energy researchers. The family is called Hieronymus, the Hieronymus family, and they were working with associates, if you will. The Hieronymus family was selling scalar energy instruments, and I bought some of those instruments. And immediately, once I started working with myself with scalar energy, I felt better. Immediately. And I was working with myself through the photograph, always the photograph, because these instruments only work with photographs. So it dawned upon me that my photograph carried my energy field, that my photograph is me. It's a photograph substitution of me. So if it worked with me, I said, let me try it with my family and friends. I started working with my family and friends in 1993 and 1994, and it worked with them. It was incredible. So I said to myself, I have to consider this. And after having so much success, I said, this is it. This is the Tesla energy I've been looking for. This
Okay,
is.
Yeah. Thank you. So what about more background about yourself? Are you an engineer or a doctor by trade? Yeah.
No, I'm not a physician. I've taken engineering courses. I'm not the principal engineer. Dr. Hieronymus was the initial engineer and developer. I've copied his technique. Dr. Hieronymus is deceased, and his family is not interested in this science at all. So I have recalibrated, I've retrofitted these instruments, and I've, if you will, created new and better, more enhanced versions of Scalar Light instruments. And that's where we're at today. I work with a brilliant engineer today and many manufacturers who create this instrument. Everything, this instrument is custom built. Everything has to be perfectly tuned, tool and die. Even the vacuum tube is specially sourced. That's what it takes.
Well, we've had Jimmy Payne on here, and he's discussed that back in the 1950s, this was before the microchips were out. There were transistors. Of course, they had the vacuum tubes. So before all that, the microchips, the tall whites were provided manufacturing instructions, and some of the materials were rare earth elements that we don't have in our microchips. So these rare earth elements allow for interdimensional properties, time travel, like we had the Montauk chair and so on. But today we don't really have access to that. So I was just wondering, have you explored the rare earth elements, and what have you noticed?
Yeah, I have, and so has Dr. Hieronymus, and that's a good point. I'm going to point to the vacuum tube. That vacuum tube allows, if you will, a space-time continuum. That vacuum tube allows for a 3D atmosphere. That vacuum tube, if you will, is a miniature universe, as opposed to solid-state circuitry that is not imitating nature. So you have to go back to nature. This instrument is a miniature universe. I would say circuits, solid-state circuits, are not indicative of imitating the universe. And you're right, there are some elements that I've used. I've used in the past some rare earth elements that seem to enhance the output of this energy. So much work has to be done on this topic. Dr. Hieronymus was using rare earth elements. To what extent, I don't know. I never met him. But you're right. It all depends on the geometry of the instrument, and it depends upon the material that's being used.
Thank you. All right, let's go through. We have some questions from the audience. From Yan Princess. What's the relation between scalar energy and key energy? Can dowsing rods be used on the photograph?
Yeah, it's the same. Key energy, I believe, is scalar energy. When you're dowsing, people who have this experience with dowsing experience a scalar energy, in which scalar energy will identify water. Scalar energy can also identify the signature of herpes. So if I have herpes, my instrument will identify herpes in my force field. If a person is dowsing for water, it identifies water in the body below. So you see the similarity. If I can identify herpes in my quantum body, a dowser can identify a body of water, if you will. So chi, prana, ki, qi, 0-point energy, om, om. Some people call it ether, pyramid energy. Those terms are synonymous for scalar energy. Tesla called it radiant energy. I call it scalar energy. The key factor is this. There's two energies. Electromagnetic energy, electricity, is limited. I don't want to use electricity. It's limited. I want to use unlimited energy. This energy does not need a satellite. This energy is free energy from the sun and the stars. This is much more versatile because I don't need a grid system. The grid system is free. The grid system is the universe.
Okay, thank you. What if it's a picture of the entire globe?
I've worked with the entire globe before, and that's essentially sending the Christ blessing, the Christ consciousness on the entire globe. Does it work? Yes. To what extent? Well, I don't know. Only God can tell me to what extent. I want to be clear that this instrument imparts energetic healing, a blessing, which is identical to praying or meditation or a positive thought. What is thinking? What is a positive thought or meditation? That's scalar energy. That's chi. That's prana. So what I do with an instrument, people do by way of meditation or thought.
Thank you. All right, so maybe we can discuss more about the healing process. How long does it usually take before people notice a response?
Yeah, I'll explain. When people send me their photograph in the morning, for 1 hour every morning, I take photographs of microbes. Here, that's a collage of, if you will, of viruses. And I always match them up. I place them in the instrument simultaneously with my photograph as such. So for 1 hour every morning, I scan for over 400,000 species of pathogens. This instrument can easily scan hundreds of thousands of pathogens, the signature of pathogens that match up, that find that pathogen in my quantum field. That's for 1 hour. That's for the first hour. The second hour, I take this instrument, and with the scalar wave, I can balance my chakras. So for hour number 2, if you will, I am sending that energy into our 7 chakras. Well, once again, if this energy is so strong, it can light up a light bulb, then it's going to light up our chakras. So for 1 hour a day, I am illuminating our chakras. And you feel it because you feel that surge of energy. And then the remaining 22 hours a day, I take the photographs and I place them in a reservoir with different photographs of the antioxidants, fatty acids, amino acids, proteins, vitamins, minerals. And for 22 hours a day, people experience the nutrient program. in which the energy of nutrients is being downloaded, not the chemical. The fact that I deliver the energy of nutrients, there's never a toxic shock. This is non-chemical. It's only the information of B5 going into my information field.
Nice. So you could use it to get your vitamins. Maybe you could do some maybe not necessarily for juicing for the gym.
Yes.
Healthy,
Yeah.
in a healthy way.
This has kept me so healthy. I'm 64 years of age. I have no medical needs. I have no medical conditions. It even helped me. I had sports injuries and my back hurt. My back is no longer compromised. I no longer have any back pain. So what's the point here? It works. Why does it work? Energy is fundamental. Energy always works. Energy never makes a mistake. Sending this energy into my aura, into my quantum field, never touching my biological field, it is instructional. You see, the biological person is the end result, the chemical result. I never work with a biological person. I work at a higher order of information or intelligence. The intelligence dictates everything else. I don't want to work with people in person. That's the biological person. I work with the informational person, their force field on the photograph. This is the new science that we have to realize, that a person can bilocate through their photograph.
Okay. How about this question from Edward? What if the picture generated by AI? Has anyone?
That's a good point. It has to be an actual photograph. It cannot be an image. Your photograph has to be you, not a copy, not an AI image. So when you take your photograph and submit it to me, make sure it's a photograph, not an image. AI cannot reproduce God's creation. Your photograph, you're created by God. That's my photograph. It has a specific fingerprint to it. AI cannot reproduce Christ consciousness.
Very good. Here's a good comment from Sunspot. Us Indians say you steal our soul with cameras.
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
You're absolutely correct. And many people, there have been many cultures throughout history that have said, don't take my photograph because you're capturing my photograph on a piece of paper. My soul, mind, and body are on that photograph. You're absolutely correct.
Thank you. All right. So many good questions. How about this one? This is more of a response. So, and you wonder why acoustic bells were removed from all cities and towns in the 1800s. The church bells were tuned to heal people.
You're absolutely right. There are sounds. The Gregorian chant apparently has great healing power. Many people have been healed by the Gregorian chant. You're right. Church bells have healing power. It's a vibration, if you will, that heals. And it's a shame because we're getting away from what I would call classical music or Gregorian chants or church bells that has a healing property. There are other types of music that will cause what I would call entropy or disease patterns. I agree.
Okay. Can it help align chakras?
All the time. Yes, all the time. Take a look at our 7 chakras and imagine this energy. That's what a scalar wave looks like. Imagine that energy going into your 7 chakras. It's a straight line. What is scalar energy? It's a spiral. What are chakras? They're spirals. So the corkscrew, the spiral of scalar energy, will realign our spiraling chakras.
Thank you. Okay. Dan Guess is asking, does scalar reset you in a way?
I believe so. I believe every time I perform the chakra balancing, I'm happier. I have greater clarity and greater focus. And many people tell me that. So this does work. Keep in mind, if this energy is so strong it can illuminate a light bulb, it's also going to illuminate your mind, and it's going to illuminate your chakras. We're not speaking about electricity. It's a different type of energy that can illuminate the mind.
James Bro, can you ask him if it heals serious medical conditions?
As of March this year, March of 2024, I've started a new program that I call Divine Intelligence. I've worked with over 100 people with cancer under this new Divine Intelligence program. I would say the greater majority of people who've reported back to me, their testimony is that they're in remission, that they have no sign of cancer.
Let's be careful about using certain words. All right. Thank you. Could you get too much scalar energy? Is it an overexposure of things?
Not that I know of, and I'll tell you why. This is a small instrument. Keep in mind, scalar energy is from the sun and the stars. There are trillions upon trillions of stars sending us scalar energy. Why is this different? Because I focus it, and I can instruct this instrument to go out and negate a disease signature, such as herpes, or I can instruct this energy to balance our chakras. But I can assure you, on a daily basis, we receive much more energy from the stars than we do from an instrument.
Okay, I understand work of energy, but how can you extract or interact with the right person from a photograph? If the photograph is an example, yeah, he already answered this. So don't send a lookalike or a doppelganger. Send your own photo.
If there's an identical twin, don't worry. Everybody has a unique signature. Think of it this way: your fingerprints are unique. Your energy signature is unique. This is God's energy. God can tell each person. You don't need a satellite. Let's face it, if you have a cell phone has a particular phone number, and that satellite will find that cell phone. Well, imagine that God, who doesn't need a satellite, can identify each individual. This is divine energy. There's no human interpretation.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to the next question here. What if you held up fractals like the Mandelbrot set?
It would still interact with those fractals. To what extent, I don't know, but that's a good point. Why are there fractals to begin with? Because scalar energy is a fractal. This has a major groove and a minor groove. And that major groove and minor groove creates our DNA, which is a major groove and a minor groove. And if you look at nature, you see the Fibonacci sequence, the major groove and the minor groove. The Fibonacci sequence are the divine proportion in nature. So the divine proportion here, the scalar wave, creates the divine proportion in the universe. And fractals are part of that energy manifestation. In other words, scalar energy creates a fractal.
Wow, it's a fractal within a fractal. That's quite
exactly
conundrum there. Okay, do you ever notice pathogens mutate?
No, because I negate the energy of a pathogen. It ceases to exist. That's a good point. See, this is not at the biological level. It's not chemical. I never work at the chemical level. I simply tell a pathogen to cease to exist. If that's similar to a light bulb, and I turn on the light bulb, that's the presence of herpes. And then I turn off the light bulb, then herpes ceases to exist. Why? Because I've taken away the energy of herpes.
Thank you. Okay, next question here. If it works, do we have to know how it works?
No, you don't know. I treat dogs and cats frequently, and they feel much better. I have a Leonberger, and the dog is very healthy. I don't think my Leonberger understands scalar physics. You do not have to understand how it works. Just accept it.
This type of technology info seems like it could be used for negative purposes. Is there any way to protect yourself from this?
Yeah. It's called prayer. Why? Because prayer, remember, is scalar energy. A thought is scalar energy. And I'm glad you're mentioning this. Everybody has access to scalar energy. The way you feel is a scalar wave. Thought, meditation, prayer is a scalar wave. And this is why destructive thoughts are still scalar destructive thoughts. What's the point? You want to use scalar energy appropriately. You want to make sure that this realm of thought, of consciousness, you put it to good use. You can't be evil-minded with this type of energy.
Thank you. Do you destroy the photos when you're done? And does this affect us when you do this?
I destroy the photographs, exactly. I destroy the photographs all the time. Why? Because I no longer have use of the photographs, and I don't keep anything. So good point. I destroy the photographs all the time.
Thank you for that. Okay. Absolutely fascinating, ties many realms to my knowledge. How about voodoo dolls?
That's a good point. Now, keep in mind, a voodoo doll is still prayer, thought. It's negative prayer, it's negative intention, but it's still, if you have a malevolent thought towards a voodoo doll, yes, that is a scalar connection. I want to make this clear. Scalar energy is a fundamental life force energy, and it guides everything, including negative thought. So why not use scalar energy with positive thought, positive action, not with negative thought, not with a negative consequence or negative design. This only goes. Go ahead.
Scalar energy is based on positivity. I mean, it's the love of God. So
yes, it is.
It's not like you can really use it for negative reasons, can you?
Yes, you can, because it's still energy. You have to say to yourself, what is a negative thought? It's still some type of scalar energy wave. It's a scalar wave. When I have a negative thought, or anybody has a negative thought, you are producing a negative scalar wave. So we have to have rightful intention. We have to have a holy, decent, pure intention.
Sunspot is asking us how much you pay us for our photo. It's not, I don't think you pay us. We pay you.
Yeah, I don't pay people for photographs. My website has a free session, 15 days of free sessions. This is how I share my work with people, by free sessions. If you're interested, go sign up for the free sessions.
Thank you. All right. Does this have anything to do with the base of the human spine oil? Is that squalene? Squalene that travels up the spine? I guess maybe how about if you don't know, or just talk about Kundalini.
Human spine oil. I don't know what it's meant by that. I don't understand the question.
Well, how about a Kundalini activation?
Yeah, well, yes, because everything is guided by scalar energy. So whether it's Kundalini or whether it's some type of emotional input, all action in the universe begins with scalar energy. It's the life force. Scalar energy serves as the instructions of the universe, including any type of Kundalini activity.
Martha, I think he's already answered the question. Yes, you can take a picture. Well, why don't you, Tom, you want to answer that? Can you take a picture of yourself on your phone and email?
Yes. Yes. Many people take selfies. Yes. By all means. My website is scalarlight.com. SCALAR, scalarlight.com. Anybody in the world can avail themselves of the 15-day free session. We have a standing offer for 8 billion people on planet Earth. You and your family can visit the website anytime, and for one opportunity, you can email us your photographs. No questions asked. We'll work with you for free for 15 days. Try the free sessions.
Thank you, Tom. We've got a few more questions. We can promise you wrap it up soon.
Sure.
But I want to know this too, because I've already I have created a vision board, and I have a $4 million home in Hollywood Hills that I want to manifest. So could you put a photo of money or maybe real estate next to your photo and get rich?
No, scalar energy carries intention. It's the intelligence of the universe. So what you instruct the energy to do, it has to obey. Now, does that mean that God's going to manifest for you? Not necessarily. But the energy is fundamental. And I think if you ask for something in accordance with God's will, he'll achieve that. He'll grant you that. Scalar energy is the light of God. The light of God can only do good. If you work hand in hand with this divine light, I think you're going to see favorable outcomes.
Right. And we have free sessions for the family as well.
Yeah.
Do you have a database of people you help? Is it hackable by anyone?
It's not hackable because my website has, good point, has anonymous testimonies. People send me PCR tests. This is from an individual that I work with. At one time, they had HIV. After working with this individual had a follow-up PCR test about 6 months after I worked with them with no viral load. Now, to protect the identity of the person, I don't want to use their name on the website. We don't. So if you do submit us a testimony, just submit an anonymous testimony. It's nobody's business what your name is.
Thank you. Okay. What is the marginal difference between prayer, scalar energy, and the machine you have?
It's the same. This is a prayer machine. When I'm praying, I'm broadcasting this scalar wave. When I'm thinking, I'm broadcasting that scalar wave. This instrument is broadcasting that scalar wave. What's the difference? I simply can control it through an instrument. I can, if you will, coalesce that energy, and I can make that instrument obey me and negate disease signatures. My instrument is guaranteed. Why? Because it's energy, and I can guarantee that I can negate the disease signature of herpes.
All right. Of course, always consult your professional medical advisor for the disclaimer. Yeah, thank you for that. Is time fractal?
Explain that. I don't know
what
you mean by that.
Well, I know.
Let me explain what I know about time. A scalar wave is the cause of time. Now, everything in the universe is simple. All action is simple. It evolves in complexity. That scalar wave rotates. When that scalar wave rotates, time moves forward. Reverse the rotation, time moves backwards. That's the cause of time. Time is a flow. How does time flow with the rotation of energy? That's the definition of time.
Is this the same as radionics machines?
Some might consider it radionics, but some radionics machines cannot work with people by way of a photograph. That's a good question. You have to define these terms. There is no standard term for scalar physics. It's a new and emerging physics.
Thank you. Okay. The cost of the instrument availabilities.
Yeah, I can't sell the instruments. It's a massive laboratory. I have a price schedule on my website. After the 15-day sessions, you can look at the price schedule if you're interested.
Thank you. Okay, that's it. Well, actually, let me just double check the chat. Will heal any types of the C word?
I can't use the word heal because I'm not working with the physical body. I have been able to identify cancer signatures on a photograph and negate those cancer signatures. After I negate those cancer signatures, people tell me they're in the remission. But I have to only rely now on people's testimony because there's no way to test this. This is not a medical device. This is a new branch of physics.
All right. Maybe this will probably be the last question. DMT and scalar. Can you use it to simulate a medicinal marijuana?
Yeah, I believe you could. I don't do that, but I believe you could take up the energy of some type of drug and deliver it to a person. I don't do that. I only work with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate you taking out some time from your schedule to come on Super Soldier Talk and share with our audience members some of the amazing work that you're involved with. And let's follow up with maybe we can bring you back maybe a couple months from now, and we can get an update of what's going on. And so again,
Please, if the people were to go to the website, sign up for the free sessions, and then let's come back later in the year and see how people feel. I want to get their testimony.
ScalarLight.com, and
yes.
Your phone numbers and the description. So
yes.
You may call them at once. Of course, got your email address in there. So thank you very much. And also thank you, audience members, for joining in today. We had some great questions from the chat, and I think we've learned quite a bit. So everyone, stay well, stay in the light, and let's all follow up when we have some more answers. So,
thank you.
Okay, everyone. Any final comments, Tom?
No, great questions, great crowd. Thank you, people. Let's change the world. Scalar technology will make it a better place to live. Scalar technology will change the world.
And also go to Healing Soul Survivors and make a donation. You could sign up monthly, donate. That would help us out quite a bit. I do need to get some new equipment. But anyway, all right. Love and light to you all. We'll see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Please consider supporting Super Soldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.